Hello and welcome. My name is Flower Grills and this is the second video that I'm going to do on the entire Ableton Live manual. So if you want to follow along, I'm going to be posting videos, multiple videos a week, trying to cover the entire Ableton Live manual. So today we're going to be covering 2.3.2. Yesterday we covered the display and input. Now it's theme and colors in Ableton Live's settings. So here we are in Ableton. You may be wondering, why does it look like that? That looks crazy. And there's a reason behind it. This is the section of the settings that we're going to talk about today, and you can see that my theme is dark cyberpunk. To go along with the theme, I thought I'd make a groovy sci-fi beat in a short second. Again, totally besides the point of the video, but as soon as you go back to default, it just does not sound as good. So you really need that dark cyberpunk energy anyway. Starting off, we have themes. So this is the default Ableton theme. As you can see, it's the entire template of the entire user interface of Live. There's multiple different presets. There's Angst Robot, which is more bluish. There's Classic Medium Dark, which is actually what I use. It's sort of in between, but still quite dark, as opposed to the light, which to me it's a bit too bright. This one I've downloaded from the internet, and actually I can show you how. So if you're ever interested in downloading some themes for Live, there's a website called livethemes.co. You can go to featured and there's plenty of themes if you want to play around with it. This is what I did. I just went to the most downloaded and scrolled down, and then I saw this dark cyberpunk. You go here and you can download this theme. You can also check out how to install. Again, I'm using a Mac, so I can show you quickly how to do it. So you go to your applications, you find Ableton. So this is my version of Ableton Live 12 Suite. You right click and press show package contents. Then you go, again, it's already open here because I've opened it, but you will find themes. You go to themes and you can open another instance of Finder. Just drag the theme into here. It's a .ask file. So pretty cool. You can have multiple themes here. There's really no limit to them. And you can even design your own themes. Again, I like Classic Medium Dark. That's my favorite. But if you choose default, you can actually, you have some more options here. You have the appearance option. What that does is either you can follow system. Because my system is set to dark in general on my MacBook, it will be dark. But you can also manually set it to light or dark here. But yeah, and also there's the tone. So if, for example, some people find it useful to have a warmer tone because it's easier on the eyes to avoid the blue light for a long period of time when using a laptop. I also highly recommend that. I actually have it on for everything on my MacBook. You can do that in the MacBook preferences. So there's neutral and then there's cool. Cool is actually more bluish here. Let's go to neutral and see what the high contrast does. So high contrast, as you can see here, makes everything a bit stand out a bit more. The colors are a bit more contrasting with each other. There's higher disparity between them, which is quite useful to find everything readable. Let's go back to my favorite, Classic Medium Dark. Again, it's quite grey, but I actually like it. For me, it's a bit easy on the eyes, so that's my preference. Then next we have customization. So we have the grid line intensity. For this, we have to go to the arrangement view, and it's currently at 100%, but let's make it 200. So you can see the intensity of these lines in the grid are quite strong now. Let's go to 0. So yeah, they disappear completely. And also, something that I didn't mention in the last video, but is quite useful, you can also just double click on any of these settings and they'll go back to their original state. So it was 100. If you change it, but you want to go back, you can also just double click, just like with everything else in Live. Next, we have brightness. So you can actually go above 100%. You can go to 200. That's quite bright. And you can also go down to 50. Then we have color intensity. So that just increases the intensity of all of the colors that you can see here. Let me go back to session view. And actually, once you increase the color intensity, as you can see, this option below it, the color hue, gets turned on. So yeah, let's go to 100% on color intensity, and then the color hue, it's through all the entire spectrum of colors. So it goes from 0 to 360, back from red to red. We see the color spectrum here. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, dark blue, purple, and then it's pretty much the same thing that you can control here if you so wish, or you can just make Ableton have a little party by, I wish you could automate this, but you can't. Just slowly going through all the colors. Next we have track and clip colors. So you can auto-assign track colors. What that means is if I create some new MIDI tracks here by pressing Command-Shift-T, each of these tracks is going to have a different color. As we can see, green, sort of blue, dark blue, pink. I don't even know what color this is. Another pink, red, right? But if you turn it off, you can actually select a color here. Let's say this pink. And then the tracks that you make are all going to be the same color. I actually find the auto assign quite useful personally, because it saves me the chore of having to assign them myself, and I always usually tend to color code them anyway, but in that first moment of production, I think it's nice to have a bit of color variety. It's a bit more friendly. And then we have reduced automatic colors. So what that means, again, we can look at the info view. Use a reduced color palette when assigning colors to clips and tracks. This palette makes clips and tracks easier to tell apart for color vision deficiency, such as deuteranopia, protanopia, or tritanopia. I've just figured it out after playing with it for a while. So these few first ones are with it off, and as you can see, you tend to get some of the slightly darker or muted colors more from this section of the colors. So if you right click on a clip and you want to assign it a color, then you can just press one of these colors here, and that's all of the colors available in Ableton. If you have reduced automatic colors on, then it will assign colors from, I think, probably from the first two rows. So the most obvious, the brightest colors, and less of these colors. So I've kept it on for now. I think it's quite useful to keep on if you want to really be able to tell these apart with bright colors, but it's of course up to your personal preference. And lastly, we have clip color. So it can either be the same as the track color. For example, here we have an orange MIDI track. If I double click here and make some clips, all of these are going to be orange, exactly like the track. But if I turn this option to random, I click here and it's going to be random colors. This is really useful potentially if you're making loads of different drum clips and they all maybe look similar, but you want to be able to tell them apart. So this is a great way to do that. Or maybe you just want to have clips that look different and, you know, have different phrases and stuff like that. And the random is quite useful for that, as opposed to the track color, which again, that would all look the same. It would all be orange. So yeah, again, personal preference. I do like to have it be the same as the track color. Otherwise it would confuse me, but up to you. Again, everything in 2.3.2, so theme and colors, is very much up to personal preference. And that's it for this video. Next, we're going to cover audio settings. So I'll see you in the next video.